Miss Des O'Connor.
Thank you, thank you. You're too kind. Slightly patronising. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is potentially my final song this evening. I say potentially because occasionally when I play my final song, people whoop and cheer and shout for more to such a huge extent that it would be quite frankly fucking rude for me to leave the stage. So that may or may not happen. Who can say? However, ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, I should say that whenever I tell people I play the ukulele, the first question they normally ask is, are you gay? So many questions, and thankfully so little time. Now, one of the first questions I always ask is, do you know any George Formby? To which I always like to say, fuck off! However, it did sort of get me around to thinking, what would George Formby make of this crazy, mixed-up world in which we live today? And therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the Sugar Club, this evening, I would like to present for you my tribute to the late and the great George Formby. I thank you. Turned out nice again tonight. You probably heard I can't work as a window cleaner anymore. Not now that I've got my ASBO for sexual harassment. But I've not been put off. I took inspiration from a little Dutch boy called Little Hans, which is quite appropriate because he did have little hands. And he was a chap who, in the face of great adversity, saved the day through committing an unnatural act. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to dedicate this next song to Little Hans tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. The inspiration for this tale's a story you might like, about a little boy who stuck his finger in a dike. Though the hole was cold and wet, he held on tight, 'cause don't forget that every blinking little hole's a goal. Every hole's a goal, my friend, every hole's a goal. That little lad's a legend, now I want to fill his role. There's very few that I have missed. I use me finger or me fist, I can't resist, 'cause every hole's a goal. Well, the other day when on my way to Bridlington I found a lovely lass whose bicycle was lying on the ground. "I've punctured it," the lady cried, "now I'll not get me daily ride." I said, "Hop on, 'cause every hole's a goal." Every hole's a goal, my friend, every hole's a goal. A drop of oil, a little pump, I'll get your wheels to roll. Well, I've not got me puncture kit, I got a bit of rubber and it might just fit, 'cause every blinking little hole's a goal. Last week I saw a sailor who I thought was in distress. His little boat had sprung a leak and he was in a mess. I hopped aboard courageously, the boat went down, and so did he. I said, "Hold tight, 'cause every hole's a goal." Every hole's a goal, my friend, every hole's a goal. When you work with seamen, you can quickly lose control. What? But I've got patience, I've got skill, and never seen a hole I would not fill. Every blinking little hole's a goal. That was then, but now I'm old, and I live on me own. I spent too much time filling holes, and now I'm all alone. The work's dried up, and that is that. But still, at least I've got the cat, and every blinking little hole's a goal. Every hole's a goal, my friend, every hole's a goal. I'm like a little ferret or a rabbit or a mole. These days I know I can't be fussy. I fill holes or I stroke pussy. Every blinking little hole's a goal. Thank you! One more. Oh.
Would you like one more from Des and his ditty?
Thank you.
So he's only here for the one night, you may as well. One more, Desi. Nice heckling.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I always like to begin this next song with a little test of honesty amongst the audience. And the test begins something like this. Is there anyone in the room who has ever bought a cheap bottle of wine? No, the question's not finished. We guessed that to begin with. Is there anyone in the room who's ever bought a cheap bottle of wine because it has an expensive-looking label? That's pretty honest, that's pretty honest. Okay, so for the rest of you who didn't answer that question, is there anyone in the room who's ever brought a cheap bottle of wine to someone else's party, knowing they can drink someone else's good quality booze once they arrive. Ah, yes! In which case, my friends, this next song is for you. Thanks, Dad. We love cheap, shite, white wine. We love cheap, shite, white wine. Everybody loves a cool, sweet, alcoholic treat. You can gobble from the bottle till you wobble on your feet. And then you dance like your dad when he used to hit the whiskey. Later on, inevitably feel a little frisky. End up doing things if you were sober would be risky. You're drunk so you just don't care. That's the beauty of cheap, shite, white wine. Getting fruity on cheap, shite, white wine. Well, I love to leap through the leap from the hock and the Frascati. That's why you'll always find me misbehaving at a party. Suave and the Chardonnay give me such a rush. I end up doing things that make a blue nun blush on cheap, shite, white wine. Well, that's cheap, shite, white wine. But now I don't know why I love her, 'cause she doesn't love me back. She just sits behind her window, lining up for the attack. I always think she'll make me happy, yet she often makes me sad. But living without her would drive me mad. We love cheap, shite, white wine. We love cheap, shite, white wine. Everybody loves a sharp, quick, alcoholic kick that'll grab you by the bollocks and leave you feeling sick until you wake up late, wonder what you're taking. Your mouth is dry, you feel your body shaking. Every little bit of you is aching. Until the hairy dog appears to bring you cheap, shite, white wine to make you well again. Cheap, shite, white wine. It's how we fell again. Cheap, shite, white wine. I'm off to hell again. Cheap, shite, white wine. Well, I'm in the grip of the grape, but the more I try to fight it, the more the grape is fighting back. The grip is getting tighter. My boots are getting heavy. My head is getting lighter, and I'm worried that I'm gonna drown in a bottle of cheap, shite, white wine. Cheap, shite, white wine. Here we go again. Cheap, shite, white wine. We love cheap, shite, white wine. Everybody loves a cool, sweet, alcoholic treat. You can gobble from the bottle till you wobble on your feet. And then you dance like your dad when he used to hit the whiskey. Later on, inevitably feel a little frisky. End up doing things if you were sober would be risky. You're drunk so you just don't care. That's the beauty of cheap, shite, white wine. Let me hear you now. Cheap, shite. A little louder, cheap, shite, white wine. And for the last time, cheap, shite, white wine. You've been fantastic. I'm Tassel Club. Good night.
We love him. Thank you so much, Des O'Connor.